Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I need you guys to smash that like button to extend that S. Hello, if you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We trained over 1 million producers around the world. Someone I work with: Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Lil Baby, Trippie Redd, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, a long list of folks they've worked with. So today we're going to start a new sub-series in our podcast where we're going to go through my book called The Producer Bible, which you guys can get completely for free if you go to BusyWorksBeats.com/book. You'll actually get 2 of my books for free. So let's start here with the 10 producer commandments. The first one says, "You shall have no other dolls before me," and meaning the creator of the universe. Secondly says, "You shall not make producer idols." Thirdly says, "You shall not take the name of music producer in vain." Fourthly says, "Remember 808 Day to keep it holy, August 8th. Fifth says, "Honor your teachers," meaning the people who have sown into the community knowledge, wisdom, information. 6 says, "You shall not ruin classic samples." 7 says, "You shall not betray your team." 8 says, "You shall not pirate." 9 says, "You shall not cap." And 10 says, "You shall not be desperate." So those are the fundamental axioms that we work upon. So firstly, let's start here in January 1st. The section here says, "Believe in yourself." So I'm going to read word for word, and then I'll add in notes where it makes sense. So I'll just read it. I said, "It sounds so cliche. Believe in yourself. What does that even mean? Of course, I believe in myself. I exist." That's what most of us think when we hear the vastly overused idiom. But what if I told you that wasn't the whole story? And what I mean by this is that there are a lot of beliefs that we have as like conventional wisdom that never get challenged, and we never go to the root of the belief. So here's what I'm challenging here. To believe in yourself means to have confidence in your abilities, to love yourself and accept your decisions to be true, to know you're doing the right thing without complete evidence of results. And this is the part that I wanted to emphasize. It's to know when you're doing the right thing without the evidence of results. There's a common phrase, the absence of evidence does not mean the evidence of absence. Meaning something can exist just because we're not aware of it does not mean that it doesn't exist. So when you're first starting in music production, you're taught a process, and I teach this process with my music theory courses. I teach this process with our beat making courses like Beat Magic, or even our free course called The Better Beat Maker at BusyWorksBeats.com/betterbeatmaker. I teach a process. Now, if you're a beginner, you don't even know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't need to know. So everything is foreign to you, and you just have to trust the process because the process was mapped out by people who have actually accomplished the results that you want. And so that is the path that we're trying to follow here. So this is the tricky part, is to know that you're on the right path without the evidence of the results, meaning you know that you have the right process or the right roadmap to get you to the results. It's just a matter of following step 1, step 2, step 3, without the confidence of the reinforcement to know that you're actually on the right path. That's the tricky part about believing in yourself, is believing in the process rather than the results, because it's like farming, okay? If I sow seeds into a ground, I'm not going to see a plant today. I'm not going to see it tomorrow. I'm not going to see it 3 days from now. I'm going to see a plant a year from now, 9 months from now. I have to believe that that seed being planted into the ground, nature's going to take that seed. It's going to go into the soil. The soil is going to have the micronutrients that the seed needs to grow. The seed will spread out and create roots. Water will be implanted into the soil to help that root system get more and more nutrients. Now the roots are growing and expanding, and now the root system is complete. Now this plant begins to crack ground to where we have evidence. So that could take 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months, however long it takes the process. And most of us, we just give up right when we see friction. Okay. And there's a book called Mastery by George Leonard. You want to read that book? It teaches you the growth curvature. I'm not going to go into it here, but that's a great book about that. And let's move on. So confidence means with trust. Con in Spanish means with. Fidence comes from fidelity, which means trust. So with trust. Confidence means with trust. To believe in yourself, to trust in yourself, you must have full trust in your proven abilities to create results, even if those results are not yet materialized. And again, this is the tricky part. You have to believe. It's called positive reinforcement. So our brain follows basically where we are rewarded through dopamine and different chemicals in the brain, like serotonin and dopamine. In short, we follow where we're incentivized and rewarded. And so when you don't have a result to celebrate, you have to celebrate the fact that you took action. That's the key. Celebrate the fact that you took action, because now you know, because you followed that process and that roadmap, you're moving closer to the result, even though you can't see the result. So confidence means, again, with trust. To believe in yourself, you must have full trust in your proven abilities, meaning your past efforts have materialized into a result, to create results even if those results are not yet materialized. This also too goes back into you guys' ability to have results from the past. If you've done it before, you could do it again. So whenever you feel, not confident or not, filled with doubt, look at your past self and say, have you done it before? If the answer is yes, then you could do it again. So don't let any false evidence appear true, because that's what fear stands for: false evidence appearing real. Do you believe in yourself? You will be your first fan. You will be your first sale. You'll be your first supporter. No one will work harder at your dream and your vision than you. You can hire the world's best operators, but what they don't have is the inner conviction and purpose that you have for your vision. It's yours, not theirs. So think of a seed. A seed has a vision. I'm going to get a little esoteric here, but this is all tying together. The vision of a seed is the DNA of a seed. What is the code embedded into the seed? The seed wants to become a tree. We plant a seed into a ground. The vision is the tree. It starts as a seed. It goes into the ground, and it's surrounded by nutrients that it needs, like phosphorus, nitrogen, carbon, all those things, oxygen, et cetera, in the soil. So if it has proper soil, you have all the nutrients you need for that seed to actually spring out and have different, hormones and chemicals that go out to make the root system even bigger. So now the roots are expanding. They can reach more and more. They have more surface area, so they can reach more nutrients. Water comes into play, and now water accelerates that process. Water becomes the medium of exchange. Now, a nutrient that's way over there, water carried it over to here for me. And that's what the root system keeps growing and growing and growing. And that's how seeds grow faster. Knowing this, we now understand that the seed has the vision of a tree. We're in the dark soil. We're surrounded by an environment. That environment has what we need, aka the micronutrients. When we grow with our root system, we're going to have stress, because as the root grows, you run into capacity. And if you expand too much, it's like a rubber band. I wish I had a rubber band around here. I don't have a rubber band, but we're going to demonstrate with this iPhone headphone. Now, if you pull this iPhone headphone, with too much tension, it can snap it at any point. In order to expand, you have to stress the existing length of this cable. In order for this cable to expand, it has to be pulled, meaning stressed. If you have too much pull, too much tension, you can actually pop the rubber band. In our development as business people, as musicians, as producers, we're going to be introduced with friction. And if we avoid the friction, we're not going to grow, because in order for growth, you have to expand. How do you expand? You create tension. If you avoid the tension, you're going to stay locked like this. If you want to grow, you're going to pull. Now, most people try to grow too fast. They go to from level 1 to level 50. They're trying to grow way too fast, and they snap. And that's why they quit so early. Believing in yourself goes way deeper than just a thought process or a combination of words. It goes into the mindset. And that's why I wrote this whole book called Producer Bible. You guys can get it for free at busyworksbeats.com/book. So do you believe in yourself? That's a question for you guys at home. You'll be your first fan. And here's what I told folks the other day. I said, supporters don't come until you have the fire. You have to create the fire. People want to pour fuel on the fire. They want to throw fodder into the fire. They want to throw shrubbery into the fire. They're not trying to sit there with you with the flint trying to make a fire. That's what the evangelists are for. They're not going to sit there and give you tools to keep trying to, spark a flame for your fire. It's up to you to collect the materials to start the fire. Get the flint or the rocks or however people start fires with the twigs. Okay, it's up to you to twist the twigs until they have enough friction to start a fire. Okay, you gotta nurse the ember by blowing on it with oxygen. You gotta blow into your vision until it lights up, and then you get an ember which turns into a flame. Once people see the flame, the smoke signal goes up into the air, and people can see, oh, there's fire over there. They come, you have, people's awareness, and now they're trying to pour fuel onto the flames because the flames exist. Now it's a spectacle. That is the process, and most people want other people to make the fire for them. Okay, and that's where a lot of people get stuck. So you'll be your first fan, you'll be your first sale, you'll be your first supporter. You have to believe in your product, your service, and your vision deeper than the next person. You can't just hire out conviction. You can't hire out the vision. You have the vision. It's up to you to energize other people to follow that vision, to execute and help you out. If you want them to care, you have to make it feel like your vision is their vision by allowing them to contribute and have equity or ownership of the results you create. This I learned from having multiple teams, whether customer support team, tech team, graphics team. The tricky part is if you make your team feel like they're excluded from a decision, they will actually look at your decisions as a rivalry. So let me say that slower. If you're trying to build a team and you're making decisions without the team, they will look at your decisions as a rivalry or a threat to the partnership, the symbiotic relationship that you build with your team. Because if you truly have equity in moving forward, you should have a say in how we get to move forward. And that's something you'll learn when you guys have teams. A lot of folks don't, they only work with themselves, so they don't understand dealing with other people. You have to incentivize the other person to want to help you get to where you're trying to go. And you have to motivate them. You have to make sure they're on the same page. Okay, so all these things come from feeling like they have ownership in where the thing is headed. If nobody ever has a say, they just feel like slaves. So nextly, we have, it says, believe in yourself. This is a great one because this is proof that you've already overcome an obstacle. So earlier I talked about confidence comes from believing in yourself, that you've, where was the phrase here? Your full trust in your proven abilities to create results. So here's a fact for everybody listening to this video right now. This is a fact for you. So believe in yourself. You've overcome the odds of being born into a physical human body. Okay, which we're going to use the numbers, which is 1 in a 400 trillion probability. Just to give you context, the odds of winning the Powerball are 1 in 292 million. Okay, you being born, you beat the odds of 1 in 400 trillion. I said, and if you don't understand the difference between millions and trillions, you could stack $1 million up to match the height of a dining chair, whereas stacking $1 trillion will surpass 2.5 times the height of the International Space Station from Earth. Just to give you the difference. So a chair versus going from here to the space station up in the orbit. Okay. And it says surpass 2.5 times the height. Okay. That's the difference between a million and a trillion. So multiply that times 400. Those are the odds that you've overcome to even exist. You've already won. That's the key. You've already won. Most people are trying to win to prove to themselves that they can win, but you've already won. And that's the lie that is sold to you guys with all these religious folks trying to guilt you into their religion, or all these false prosperity teachers. They want you to earn your way to something. You've already beat the odds. Therefore, you have the ability to take the action to get where you're trying to go. And this is going to empower you guys to move forward. Whenever you feel down, understand you've already overcome the most incredible odds in the universe. You already won. Win again. And here's the takeaway. It says, believe in yourself. You've overcome the odds of being born into a physical human body, which is 1 in 400 trillion. Let's do one more page. I'll probably split this into different series because we're going kind of long with this. This page says, show them what you got. Most of us are motivated by an external source. Extrinsic motivation is dangerous because when the external source is removed or ceases to stimulate us, we stop our activity. This is most of us. We get, a charge from a seminar that we go to, or we get burned by some business relationship, and then we want to show them. We have a chip on our shoulder. And then we go out on this mission, and it's all fueled by, I'll show them, I'll prove them wrong. And then once that chip on your shoulder goes away after time, because naturally emotions kind of die out over time because we resolve them and dissolve them most of the time. And once that dissolves, you're going to be on step 2 out of 100 going, why am I even doing this? And that is where it's tough for entrepreneurs to keep moving forward, because they lost their initial motivation, which is the extrinsic motivation, meaning outside of yourself motivation. This is the dangerous part about motivation. You're taught to go to a seminar to get motivated. The issue with that is that it only lasts for a certain amount of time. It's like trends. Anybody with a news channel or covering gossip, the trend spikes up and then it goes down. So if you're spiking up the traffic and it goes down, that means you have to find another trend to hop on, aka another business, aka you're going to be going from business to business to business to business to business, seeking this trend bump. Okay. And that's the problem with trend channels and gossip channels specifically, is that they have to constantly keep chasing the rabbit. Whereas if we built, a slow and steady race going up over time, that is called intrinsic motivation. I'm jumping a little bit ahead. Okay. So I said, that's not good if you aim to build a long-term business, being motivated by extrinsic motivation. And what you want to find is inspiration, because inspiration pulls you into what you love. Motivation pushes you away from what you fear. So those are the two directions. You either move forward towards what you love or you move away from what you fear. In psychology, they call this pain aversion. Okay, you could call it, gaining pleasure versus pain aversion. You're either moving towards something or you're moving away from something. Those are the only two directions in this case, in a bipolar type of setup, I mean. So inspiration will pull you infinitely towards what you love, whereas motivation only pushes you temporarily from fear, from behind you. Better you follow what you love than to be motivated by a temporary source of stimulation. Nothing is worse than building a huge empire only to stop and have the newly acquired maintenance overtake you. And this is what a lot of people, they go on missions and they don't finish the mission, but they still have all the overhead and all the responsibility from building that mission. But because they want to change course, they forgot they still have that responsibility. And you won't know this until you grow your business. Be inspired and let your light shine. You will attract more opportunities than you can believe simply by projecting your greatness every day. Your pursuing mastery will inspire others to do the same. People love watching a master work. So make it your mission to elevate every room you guys step in. Make it your purpose to show love. All you have to do is show up and be you. It sounds simple because it is. Most of us suffer because we're trying to be someone we are not. We're trying to match a standard set upon us by society. And this is, you guys know this, social media has marketed to us values. We haven't created our own value system, meaning what do we actually care about? Marketing told us what to care about. The algorithm filtered what we should care about. And that has overridden our subconscious mind and belief system to where now we are living out somebody's intent over our life. It's not even our own intent. The hard work we have to go do is go back and reprogram ourselves to define words, to define scenarios so that everything's not posed as a threat. It's posed as something to help us to get to where we're trying to go. Now, you guys know deeper about how deep the rabbit hole goes, but I'll keep pushing on. So know who you are and show them what you got. The way you process information is different from the way others process information. That's your angle, your personal brand. You can view the same circumstance and have two completely unique perspectives upon the matter. And what we mean here, or what I mean here, is I can look at a crow outside and say, that's a beautiful work that the creator made that bird. Another person can look at a crow and say, look at this demon from hell flying around. We both are looking at the same bird. We have two definitions for the bird. One's a threat and one's an ally. So that is what I mean by going into our programming to say we need to rewire what a threat is, because I'll get to this in a different video. There was a talk with Andrew Huberman, I believe Lisa Feldman, if I'm not mistaken her last name. And basically they described how actions are pre-built. Okay, so let me say this again. Usually I teach that it spells tear, like a tear in the universe. Thoughts lead to emotions, and emotions wind the body up to take action, and those actions create the results that we want. So we have the thought of, buying a mansion, and then we think about it a lot, and then we get charged up. Our hormone system starts to rally around the fact that we want this mansion, and so we're implanting it into our subconscious mind, which charges up our intent and our value system. Then we take action, and we start to do deals and real estate deals to work our way to the mansion, and then we get the result of the mansion from all of that focus on the fact that we wanted the mansion in the first place. That's how I used to think. What, Lisa Feldman, I believe is her name, has revealed, and I'll correct this in the comments below, is that actions are pre-built. So really it's thought, action, based around an emotion, action, result. I know that sounds complicated, but if you think about incoming signals into the brain, okay, let's say tiger running at you. So our brain has pre-existing programs that filters out the input and says, okay, we'll put it in the bucket over here, and that bucket leads to threat response. And then we trigger all of our threat responses to that input. Now, if we falsely identify the tiger as a threat, it depends on our filtering system. So this is what everybody's completely different about, is their filtering system. The key here is that we thought about something so much that we chiseled a neural pathway into our brain, which means if energy travels down the path of least resistance, it already exists, the action that we are going to take. What I'm telling you guys is that you can view yourself and others in this business based on the actions they take, because the actions are proven built neural pathways. The neural pathways show that those actions already pre-existed. And you can really tell when somebody's in the moment and they just have a split second to react. If they react a certain way, that action was pre-built, pre-thought, pre everything, because that neural pathway had to exist for them to take that action. So another way you can kind of tell in business is when you're on the fly, kind of, calls or whatever it is, in that moment, whatever action they take was pre-built, and they've proven this through biology. So go look up Andrew Huberman, and I want to say Lisa Feldman. Hopefully that's her name. All right, so it says, know who you are and show them what you got. The way you process information is different from the way others process information. You can view the same circumstance and have two completely unique perspectives upon the matter. Understand why you're doing what you're doing. This is the part that we don't really dig deep upon. Understand why we're doing what we're doing. Most of us react automatically. We're not thinking about it. And the stuff that we react to was coded into us by somebody else, whether Instagram filters, whether social media, whether a TV show, a movie, all those things that were like seeds coming from an outside source into our subconscious garden. And we never pluck those seeds. So understand why you're doing what you're doing. You should be pulled by inspiration to do things you love. If you find yourself temporarily motivated by negative circumstances and short-term rewards, understand that this could be the result of past traumatic experiences. Understanding the root of your behavior will help you sort out your internal chain of reactions, which will allow you to rearrange the chain to serve you. This will require you to adjust your core beliefs. So this was going to require a different video about that last couple of sentences because it goes deep. Make it your mission to elevate every room you guys step in. So I just want to give you guys the blueprint. Go to busyworksbeats.com/book. I'll leave a link below. You can get this book for free. It's called The Producer Bible, and another book called Busy Signal, where I teach you guys how to build an online business. Subscribe if you're new. Please share with a friend and like this video so we can continue this series. Peace out, guys.